Good morning, dear students. Now we are going to start the next point from chapter 2, Morphology of Reproductive Parts. In this lecture, we are going to study the fruit. So, as you know that fruit is the one of the reproductive part of the plant. So, in the previous lectures, we studied the morphology of the reproductive parts of flowers, floral holes such as calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. Now in this lecture we are going to study the fruit. Okay, so fruit is one of the reproductive part of the plant. So as you know that in angiospermic plants, these are the flowering plants, flower bearing plants. So in angiospermic plants, flowers with functional carpels generally gives rise to fruit. So fruit is the seed bearing organ of a plant. So after the formation of flower that possesses the functional carpels, the carpels which is the member of gynoecium. So this carpel generally gives rise to the fruit. So fruit is the seed bearing organ of a plant. It develops after the process of pollination and fertilization. So what happen in the flower? There is a presence of essential or reproductive part. It is the androecium and gynoecium. Okay, so these are involved in the process of reproduction. So the androecium, which consists of anther, filament and connective. So this anther produces the functional pollen grains. These pollen grains are released after anther dehiscence and falls on the stigma of the same flower or the different flower. So this process it is called as the pollination. So what happen in pollination? There is a transfer of pollen grain from anther to the stigma of the flower. Once they are reached to the stigma of the flower, the pollen grain get germinates. Means the pollen grain form the pollen tube that possesses male gametes. Okay, so these male gametes travel through the pollen tube that travel through the style of the flower and reaches to the ovary. Inside the ovary there is a presence of the ovule. So inside the ovule it fuses, one male gamete fuses with the egg cell and other male gamete fuses with the secondary polar nuclei. So the fusion of male and female gamete that we call it as the fertilization. So ovule, it is the female reproductive structure or it is the female gametophyte that possesses the egg cell. One male gamete fuses with the egg cell, it is called as first fertilization or syngamy, while the other male gamete fuses with the secondary polar nuclei, it is the second fertilization or triple fusion. So these are the processes, that is pollination and fertilization are responsible for the formation of the fruit. Thus after fertilization the ovary is modified into a fruit. During fruit formation the ovary enlarges, wall of the ovary becomes the wall of the fruit and the fertilized ovaries transform into the seeds. So at the final stage the seeds are formed inside a protective wall that we call it as the fruit. So fruit possesses or fruit is the seed bearing organ of a plant that has been developed from the ovary. The fruit wall is the wall of the ovary that has been formed after the enlargement of the ovary during fruit formation, and that fruit is a fertilized ovule which is transformed into the seeds. So fruit is the seed bearing organ of a plant that has been produced after the process of pollination and fertilization. Okay. However, in some fruits, floral parts like calyx, thalamus, peduncle and perianth are retained. For example, persistent calyx in brinjal. In brinjal we can see the persistent calyx and vidania, thalamus in apple, peduncle in cashew nut and marking nut, perianth in pineapple. So the floral parts like calyx, thalamus, peduncle, perianth that are retained in the fruit. For example, persistent calyx in the brinjal. जो आपण वांग्यामध्ये बघतो जो देठ असतो दॅट इज द कॅलिक्स विच ग्रोज अलॉंग विथ द डेव्हलपमेंट ऑफ द फ्रूट. सो दॅट कॅलिक्स इट इज द persistent calyx that we seen in the brinjal and vidania. Similarly, the thalamus in the apple, peduncle in cashew nut and marking nut, perianth in pineapple. So this edible part of the pineapple which is the perianth. Okay, pineapple ananas म्हणतो आपण त्याला. So the part that we eat it is the actually it is the perianth. So this perianth that has been grows along with the development of the fruit, along with the growth of the fruit. So some of the floral part that has been written on the fruit. When ovary grows into fruit, it is known as the true fruit. So when the fruit that has been developed from the ovary alone, that fruit is called as the true fruit. So it is the most important thing that I am going to telling you, that when only ovary grows into the fruit, it is known as the true fruit. But when other floral parts are involved in the formation of the fruit, it is known as the false fruit. For example, apple. So apple is a false fruit because it has been developed from other floral parts. So such fruit it is called as the false fruit. So there are two types of fruits, true fruit and false fruit. So when ovary grows into fruit, when only ovary, or one can say the fruit is developed from ovary alone, only ovary, it is known as the true fruit. But when other floral parts are involved in the formation of the fruit, it is known as false fruit. Okay, so there are two types of fruit, true fruit and false fruit. True fruit developed from the ovary alone, while in the formation of the false fruit other floral parts are also involved. Okay, so these are two types of fruit, true fruit and false fruit. Sometimes ovary may grow into fruit without fertilization and with or without pollination. Such a fruit without seeds or with immature seeds is known as seedless fruit or parthenocarpic fruit. So in the previous slide we seen that the fruit has been developed after the process of pollination and fertilization. Okay, so such fruits are seed bearing fruits. While in some plant, ovary may grow into the fruit without fertilization and with or without pollination. So such fruits having immature seeds, or these fruits are without seeds, such fruits are called as seedless fruit or parthenocarpic fruit, because this phenomenon it is called as the parthenocarpy. So what happen in parthenocarpy? There is a formation of the fruit without fertilization. Such fruit is called as the parthenocarpic fruit. So in this parthenocarpic fruit, it is also called as the seedless fruit. The fruit has been developed without fertilization and with or without pollination. So such fruit without seeds or with immature seeds is known as seedless fruit or parthenocarpic fruit. For example, banana, grape, guava, apple. So these are the some of the example of the parthenocarpic fruit or seedless fruit. So parthenocarpy is of widespread occurrence, especially among species which have a large number of ovules per ovary. For example, papaya, guava. So these are the fruits where the fruits possesses immature seeds, or these fruits are seedless fruits. So these are produced by the phenomenon of parthenocarpy, which is of a widespread occurrence, especially in those species which have a large number of ovules per ovary. The examples are papaya and guava. Nowadays, parthenocarpic fruits can be produced by auxin treatment also. The seeds in such fruits are pseudoseeds. Thus, parthenocarpic fruits should not be considered synonymous to the seedless fruits. These are the fruits which are developed without fertilization. So such fruits are called as the parthenocarpic fruit. They are not considered synonymously to the seedless fruits, because seedless fruits may also produce by the treatment of the auxin also. So parthenocarpy, it is strictly related to the formation of the fruit without fertilization, without giving any auxin treatment. So such fruits are parthenocarpic fruit. While some seedless fruits that possesses pseudoseeds are produced by the auxin treatment also. Okay. Now the definition of the fruit. So fruit is defined as the mature and ripened ovary with seeds possessing embryo. So fruit is the seed bearing organ of the plant. It is the matured and ripened ovary with seeds possessing embryo. So seed possessing embryo. The fruit has been developed after the process of pollination and fertilization. So during this the ovary enlarges, the ovary wall becomes the wall of the fruit, and the ovules inside the ovary develops into the seeds, and these seeds possesses embryo. So the fruit is the matured and ripened ovary with seeds possessing embryo. So this is the definition of the fruit. Okay, so it may ask for 1 mark. What is a fruit, or define the fruit? So the fruit is defined as the mature and ripened ovary with seeds possessing embryo. Okay. Now we are going to study the parts of a fruit. So the fruit wall is known as the pericarp. So this is the first one part of the fruit. It is called as the pericarp. So the fruit wall is known as the pericarp. It is nothing but a modified ovary wall. So as you know that after the process of pollination and fertilization, the ovary enlarges, the wall of the ovary becomes the wall of the fruit. So fruit wall is known as the pericarp, and which is a modified ovary wall. So initially it is the ovary wall. This ovary grows, enlarges, so this wall of the ovary becomes the wall of the fruit. So it is called as the pericarp. So in simple words, I said fruit wall is known as the pericarp. Pericarp is dry, single layered. For example, pea, beans, or it may be fused with seed covering. It is also called as the testa, seed covering or testa, forming a covering known as a hull. For example, maize, rice, wheat. So these seeds having a covering, a brown colored covering that we seen in the rice, in wheat also we seen the yellowish white colored covering. So that covering, it is called as the testa or seed covering. So in some plant, for example pea, beans, the pericarp is dry and single layered, while in some plants, for example maize, rice, wheat, it may be fused with the seed covering or the testa and forming a covering known as the hull. So this hull, it is the fusion of the pericarp and the testa or seed covering. Okay. So pericarp is dry and single layered in pea and beans, while the pericarp may be fused with the seed covering or testa, forming a covering known as a hull. For example, maize, rice and wheat. In some cases, pericarp may be differentiated into 3 layers: outer epicarp, middle mesocarp and innermost endocarp. So in some fruits, the pericarp has been differentiated into the 3 layers, or one can say the pericarp has been made up of 3 layers. The outer layer, it is called as epicarp, outer epicarp, middle mesocarp and innermost endocarp. So epi outer, meso middle, endo inner. Okay. So pericarp, it is made up of 3 layers: epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. So the layer which is present on outer side, it is the epicarp. The layer which is present to the middle of the fruit, it is mesocarp, and the innermost layer, it is the endocarp. Okay. Epicarp is generally leathery. Mesocarp may be fleshy, for example mango, or it may be fibrous, for example coconut. Endocarp is close to the seed and generally hard. Okay. So this is the general nature of the layers of pericarp, that is the epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. Epicarp is generally leathery. Mesocarp may be fleshy, for example in mango. or in some plant it is fibrous, for example coconut. Endocarp is close to the seed and generally hard. In some cases, these three layers fuse together and form fleshy covering. If pericarp is dry, it breaks open and disperses seeds. Such fruits are called as the dehiscent fruit. So this is the one of the type of the fruit. So the two types that we seen in the previous slides, these are true fruits and false fruit. So when the fruits has been developed from the ovary alone, such fruits are called as the true fruits. Or when other floral parts are involved in the formation of fruit, such fruits are the false fruit. Now here, on the basis of the dehiscence of pericarp, if it is dehiscent or not, there are two types of fruit. If the pericarp is dry, it breaks open and disperses seeds. Such fruits are called as the dehiscent fruits. Okay, pericarp is dry, it breaks open. Dehiscent means break open. If pericarp is dry, it breaks open and disperses seeds. Such fruits are called as the dehiscent fruits. For example, cotton, pea, lady's finger. So these are the examples of the dehiscent fruits. So what are dehiscent fruits? Those fruits whose pericarp is dry, it breaks open and disperses seeds. Such fruits are called as the dehiscent fruits. Next one type is if the fruit wall does not break open at maturity, the fruit is called as the indehiscent fruit. For example, maize, coconut. So these fruits are not break open. Their fruit wall, that is the pericarp, does not break open at maturity. So such fruits are called as indehiscent fruits or indehiscent fruits. For example, maize, coconut. So what is the difference between dehiscent fruits and indehiscent fruit? In case of dehiscent fruit, the pericarp, that is the fruit wall, it is dry, it breaks open and disperses seeds. So these are dehiscent fruits. While in case of indehiscent fruit, the fruit wall or pericarp, it does not break open at maturity. These are indehiscent fruits. Okay, so these are again the two types of the fruit, dehiscent fruit and indehiscent fruit, on the basis of the nature of pericarp, whether it is break open or not. When it break open and disperse seed, it is dehiscent fruit. When it does not break open at maturity, then it is indehiscent fruits. Next to the pericarp, in the lumen of the fruit, placenta is present on which seeds are arranged. So as you know that in placentation we seen the fertile tissue, that is the placenta, which bears the ovules. These ovules after fertilization develops into the seed. Okay, so pericarp is one of the part of the fruit that is made up or it may consist of epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. Next to the pericarp, in the lumen of the fruit, what is meant by lumen? Lumen is the empty space of the fruit where the placenta is present on which seeds are arranged. In case of single seeded fruits, pericarp and seed covering, that is the testa, remain free from each other. In case of single seeded fruit, the pericarp and testa, they are free from each other. For example, Mirabilis, Clematis gaureana. In some cases, the pericarp and testa are fused. For example, maize, wheat. So these are the two conditions that we seen here. In one condition, the pericarp and testa, they are free from each other, while in some cases pericarp and testa are fused. In some multi-seeded fruits, the placenta becomes massive, fleshy and fuses with endocarp and mesocarp, so that seeds remain scattered in the fused mass. For example, brinjal, tomato. So this is another one case where the fruits are multi-seeded fruits. The placenta, it is massive, fleshy and fuses with the endocarp and mesocarp, so that the seeds remain scattered in this fused mass. For example, brinjal and tomato. So here we are going to make the categorization of the parts of a fruit. So here we are going to study, or we are studied the parts of a fruit. Fruit possesses a fruit wall, what we call it as pericarp. So it is the covering or the fruit wall. It is made up of epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. Okay, in the lumen of the fruit we find the placenta. The placenta bears fertilized ovule, that is the seed. Seed having a covering called as the testa. Inside the seed there is a presence of a endosperm, which is a nutriting in function, and embryo. So embryo is the future plant from which the after the seed germination the plant has been developed, because the embryo possesses root initials and shoot initials, that we also called as the plumule and radicle, that has been developed after seed germination. So fruit consists of fruit wall, that is the pericarp, which is made up of three layers: epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. In addition to this, in the lumen of the fruit there is a presence of a fertile tissue called as the placenta, which bears seeds. So seed is also the part of the fruit. That seed having a covering called as the testa. Inside the seed there is a presence of, or seed consists of endosperm and embryo. So these are the parts of a fruit. Okay, got it? Pericarp, it is the covering or the fruit wall. Placenta, that bears the seed, and seed consists of a covering called as testa, endosperm and embryo. Okay, these are the parts of a fruit. Now we are going to study the classification of the fruits. So the classification of the fruit has been made on the basis of, first, the number of flowers involved in the formation of the fruit. Okay, so how many are the number of flowers that are involved in the formation of the fruit? So how many flowers are involved in the formation of fruit? So this is the one of the criteria by which the fruits are classified. Second one criteria, the parts of flower involved in the formation of the fruit. So which are the parts of the flower? One of the floral part, it is the calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. So in addition to the ovary, in some fruit other floral parts or holes are involved in the formation of the fruit. So on the basis of which we are also classify the fruits. Nature and position, nature, position and number of ovaries involved in the formation of fruit. Number of ovary, the position of the ovary, whether it is superior, inferior. Okay, so this is another one criteria for the classification of the fruits. Third, nature of pericarp. So nature of pericarp forms one of the basis for the classification of the fruits. Number of seeds in the fruits. So how many seeds are present in the fruits? So this is the one of the criteria for the classification of the fruit. Mode of dehiscence of the fruit. Then so the classification of the fruit in detail we are going to study in the next lecture. So today this is all. Okay, thank you. Stay home, stay safe.